if you're just somebody, like, no offense, but if you're just somebody that's just like too lazy to do the work, you don't want to do school, you just want to jack off and jerk around all day and not do fucking all or whatever, you're not the kind of person that anybody here is talking about when they're like, oh, you know, school's not for everybody.
Parents are hiring coaches to coach their kids at like 13.
Wait, what?
I think it's
just getting so advanced because of like the streaming and shit. Like everyone is just
everything, right?
Like if somebody's like popping off or like doing crazy, you know, performance wise, like everyone, you know, can go to their stream and watch it and learn from that. I feel like it's so like open nowadays that like any little crack kid can just watch like, you know, some really good player and then just like copy it and mimic it really quickly and just kind of take off.
No, I see people in the chat saying they're not. Bro, one of the best controller players in Fortnite right now is Reet. I got to name drop him because I watch the stream all the time. He's a good kid. He gets a lot of viewers.
How old is he though?
He's just turned 14, bro.
That's the thing.
Listen to me. He's the best for controller players. He's top notch. He makes people look fucking stupid, and he also
plays on West though. But
he's 14. I'm just saying.
Yeah. When sports start to get really respected, like that, you start getting these kids that start from such young age, they get insane by the time. Like you saw this with like chess, and now you see it with esports with these support networks. Like fuck, man, CSM just picked up a player for $3 million. Like parents see that. And they're like, okay, we're gonna hire a coach for this kid. Like, we're gonna.
So, guys, you want to ask me any questions?
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen earlier and earlier, man. Like,
I agree.
You saw it in traditional sports. Parents get their kids, you know, golfing instructions at the age of 4, and then they become a professional golfer. And there's a reason for that because at such a young age, man, it was just repeat, and they just get fucking good, man, damn good.
And they have so much
time. It's gonna be the same way in gaming. I mean, even if people don't like it or whatever, they don't agree with it. There's going to be 7-year-old little gamers. There already are. Dude, people tweet me all the time, this little kid, he's just like 5-year-old that beats everybody up on Call of Duty. And it's, you know, it's right and wrong on different levels, whatever the fuck you want to believe. But he just goes around beating the shit out of everybody. He's like 5, and his dad's okay with it. His dad's coaching him up. They got like a little stream and shit. I don't know his name, so I can't.
Remember that video of that guy that comes home? That was right after a Booga won.
Rowdy Rogan, chat's saying it. Sorry, I'm sorry to cut you up, Bob.
No problem. Remember that video of that guy that comes home and he sees his kids? Is like, what are you guys doing? And one of them is like, oh, I'm reading my book. It's like, fuck this book. It's like, play Fortnite. You gotta win.
I just want to.
It was so funny, dude.
Nick, can I just jump in for a second?
Sure.
And to Manuel, to your point, can I just give you kind of my perspective as a parent of a guy who does this for a living?
Wait.
But your son ain't any good though.
No. I want to make a
Could you
imagine not destroying me every 2 seconds? I'm trying to.
No, but that's on my competitive Fortnite, and you're like, I'm just like,
no, but you're missing my point. I wasn't trying to be funny. I'm saying, okay, maybe not specifically to the gaming. I'm saying to what this whole thing is. Just follow my thought process for a second. You have to just understand something. So one of the biggest lessons in my entire life I learned from this guy, because the problem is, I think that there's a lot of moms and dads that think there's a path that every kid has to follow. And you know, you need to do the college thing, you need to get the job, you need to do this, that. What I learned from him, okay? Now, how many years ago did you start doing this?
Like 5-6 years ago.
Dude, in the beginning, I didn't know what any of this was. I was in a full-blown panic. I go, this motherfucker's going to be 40 in the basement in his box briefs playing fucking Pong. I don't know what's going on. No, you guys, it's funny. Understand where I'm coming from, right? And I'm saying to myself,
no, it's a real concern, right?
I don't know what the fuck this is. And then I watched him, and Nick, you know, like, right, I know, I understand the difference, like the gaming and the stuff, but Nick, you know what I'm saying. And then what he did and you know, you probably know better than me, as he kind of grew and the whole thing, you know, and developed and stuff.
Absolutely.
So I learned a lesson, and I have friends of mine, moms and dads that have kids. I go, every one of these kids is on a different path. I said, and so if you think that, you know, you're going to put everybody into a box, I said, don't do it. Because he was just a cat of a different breed. And I always knew that. I didn't know what direction he was going to go in. So what I tell moms and dads all the time is, I'm like, listen, man, if your kid is going to go in a different direction, you have to support that, because in the beginning, like I didn't understand it. And my wife, she's got more degrees than a thermometer, right? She's the smartest person by far that I know. And she said, hey, listen, let him do his thing. Let's see what happens.
Wow.
So my point is,
that's kind of rare.
I wish I could share this. I wish I could share this with more people. And unfortunately,
hey, you're doing it now. Go ahead, bro. I love hearing stuff like this because I relate to it really well. I went through the same things with my father and my dude. So you don't know a lot about my dad, but just real quick, bro. He was a college football coach, man, and so our worlds were real different. Like I was playing football. I was pretty good at it. He was forcing me to do that, and even after football practice, it was throwing the ball with him and practicing shit. But I wanted a game. I was 7 years old. I wanted a game. I was 10 years old. I wanted a game. I was 15 years old. I wanted a fucking game. And I didn't know how to tell my college football coach father that I want to play video games. And believe it or not, bro, we had a falling out for 5-6 years. I didn't talk to the motherfucker. He didn't talk to me. There was crazy words being said. I moved to Kansas City with some of my Gears of War teammates to say, fuck you. You don't want to support me? I'll get the fuck out of here. I'm going to go live with them. And I did. You know, but it took that walking away from it to be able to come back, and then he said, okay, hold on, maybe I gotta really try to understand this motherfucker, and he tried, and now you're not gonna find a fucking father that knows more about what his son's doing. I mean, no disrespect to you, I'm sure you know everything, but I'm just saying, like, my dad knows my every fucking move. He's got the stream on every second. If I don't stream, he's more mad than my fucking M-fam if I don't fucking stream. He's like, hey, you're not fucking streaming. What the fuck you doing today, man? Come on, you know. So I get you, and it's a really hard thing to understand. But it's a special thing that you and Los have, man. It's crazy. It's so special, man. It really is.
I guess, and just going back to like, and again, when I think about this, and you know, a lot of times you have, and you guys, some of you guys can relate maybe, you know, you get these fucking moms and dads and the high school, and it's competitive, and you know, what college did your kid get accepted to, and what's all the activities that they're doing, and how they do on the SATs. And the bottom line for a lot of these fucking people, you know what the reality is? After all is said and done, they're going to get a job sitting in a fucking cubicle for the next 30 years. I know. And what I'm trying to say, and I learned my lesson early on when I saw what was going on. And listen, man, when I tell you, like, kidding aside, when I tell you my wife, like, she's master's nurse practitioner. Wow. Next August, she's going to have her doctorate. Like, she's the brains.
She's getting degrees for fun at that point.
I'm the fucking comic relief. Like,
no, it's great. Yeah, no. I fuck with it.
Though, she's the one that goes, leave him alone. Let's see what happens. And then it started to develop.
Listen, I mean, you have a great wife, and Los, you got a great mom. I'm not trying to. Are we taking up too much of the fucking air in here? Or,
no, I love this. I love this.
I'm gonna say this,
Nick. I miss you.
And then I'll shut the fuck up. All right. I just want to say this. That's all I want to say. Because I'm sure, you know, listen, we're all streamers in here. Everybody goes through the same shit, just in different ways.
Well, real quick, I'm gonna be honest with you, Nick. I'm gonna keep it $1.50 with you, bro. I haven't drinking for 6 months, and this Blue Label's got me feeling good. So you keep talking.
Yeah, bro. Nice.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, just to bounce off a Lou's point, listen, I was the black sheep of the family, and that's okay. You know what I mean? But my grandfather was a superintendent of a public school district. It doesn't get any more official than that. I mean, everybody knew the guy. And then, like, you know, my father, like I said, college football coach. My mom was a fucking nurse, just like your wife. So nobody supported that shit. Nobody. So when I tell my stream, like, your statement you just made, you're telling people that, listen, you got to let them go. I agree with that. But at the same time, there are going to be more people like your wife. And this goes without saying. You know, the college route can work. You get the right. You have the right passion. You go to the right program for school. You get the right paper. It can fucking work. But they gotta want to do that, right? Right.
Nick,
So that's what I tell my fucking stream. I say, guys, listen. You know, do what the fuck you want to do. Because if you're doing what you don't want to do, it's a shitty fucking life. I think. You know what I mean? It's not it.
I mean, and the reality is that most.
Poor X. Go ahead.
I'm kidding.
Okay, I'm done. I'll shut the fuck up.
No, I don't give a fuck.
I can't fucking hear. You're busting my balls. Go ahead. I can't. Go. Who wants to go? I don't know.
No. It's just because you both said something really interesting, and I want to kind of make the bridge between the both of them. So Lou said, support them, and then Nick was more angled towards try to understand them, right? And I am a bit in the middle of you guys, or because I've lived through all of this. What if you guys are both saying? And I think it's really interesting.
Okay.
I think a lot of it is like sometimes you have to try.
What was your mom and dad doing, and how was it crazy for you? I've never heard that.
Okay, so for me, like what I always tell people is that try to make them understand what you see. They probably can't see. Your vision, they're probably blind to it. If you try to sell it to them, at least if you try to make them understand, maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Mine didn't, but maybe they will, right? And at least if parents at least try to see it, try to understand.
So how'd you show your parents to try to get them to understand?
Oh well, it's really odd. But back in the days, I was playing a league, and it sounds kind of cringe, but I was really high rated, and I thought I could make it pro or something, or at least stream it and become successful at it, right? So I just sit down and say, look, I don't spend that much time because of school on this game and streaming it, and that's where I'm at. That's where it starts. That's where people are, and when they make it, it's successful. And here's where I'm at, and try to set us on this idea of the vision from start to finish, and see, But they didn't really give a fuck. They didn't really understand it. My mom kind of did, but not really. So I think it's important for parents not to like blindly support out of the blue, because you don't want to have like a nation of like hundreds of thousands of complete bum ass lords who tell their parents, I'm going to become a fucking pro Fortnite, right? And they can't break fucking like League 2 with like
that's why I was
players.
saying that the college route is a real thing, and a lot of people go that route and are very successful because of it. You know what I mean? So when you look back on the way your mom and dad, I guess, treated that whole thing, do you like it? You cool with that? It was cool?
I understand, not really. I understand I understand where they came from. I had to leave home. Like I had to, like at some point. I took my computer and I remember I even left her a letter. I think she still has it somewhere. I went downstairs.
She has the letter?
Yeah, she still has it.
That's fucking wild. You should frame that.
Yeah. So I was in my room. I was getting like kicked out by like my stepdad or whatever. And I wrote a letter, and I unplugged all my shit really fast because I was scared it was like really chaotic in the house. Everybody was yelling and pushing and shit. And then I kept putting all my words on my backpack. I took my computer and my monitor, and I went downstairs on the porch. And then I gave my mom a letter. I'm like, I'm here right now. Here's where I'm going, and I think I got this, and I think I can do it, right? And she still had to, because she still had to let me leave or whatever. But I also like, goodbye. I'll see you soon when I try this, and if it fails, it fails.
Mm-hmm.
But she kind of understood, but she couldn't do anything about it. So that's kind of where we left off.
Damn.
Then the next time you and her came back, you were this big streamer.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Right there, I grew so fast after that. I kind of got a lot of like luck phases or whatever. But I think the first time I came back was after like World Cup, and I was like blowing up or whatever. It was crazy, and yeah, it was pretty wholesome. I think they understood. They didn't really understand the whole thing, but they were seeing me in like the papers or whatnot because I was competing with whatever. So and she's like, "Oh, you look," and she had this like a newspaper cut out that she cut with a scissors. Or whatever. I was like, "Oh, this is you," whatever, and it was pretty wholesome.
I'm 45 years old, and I come from a generation that's closer from your parents than your generation, right? So there was a time, I've always been a gamer, and there was a time where there was no route in gaming to be a player and make money, where even if you were doing competitions, the most you would win is maybe a controller or like a console or something like that with no money. And esports started coming and making a little bit of money, making a lot more money. Then Twitch came out, and now there is a real future. So I really feel like the parents that you guys will be more understanding with the gaming world and the Twitch world, and
for sure
understanding that there is a route to success in it. So
a possibility, so they can see the end game. They already know it's out there. It exists. Well, the end game, that it's there.
Right. Because the first time that I tried to tell my mom and dad, I'm showing them T squared from MLG. Like, yo, ma, I can beat the shit out of this guy. I promise you, I can beat the shit out of him. And she's like, what is that? What's he making? I show him like a $20,000 check. And she puts that against the salary that I could be making if I go to school. So it's not, you know what I mean? I was like, here we go. But nowadays they can turn on fucking XQC stream, Tfue stream, like, Mom, see? It's like, how the fuck do you even argue with
well,
that?
I'm sure it's kind of similar to your experience, just in a different field, Manuel, right? Like, I'm sure when your parents heard you want to just go fuck for a living, right? They're probably thinking, right?
My situation was also very different because I was the only kid in my family that went to college. So I went to.
Oh no!
Stop fucking laughing!
Oh no!
Laughing.
In the beginning, I was like, Manuel, like, yeah, he's going to college. He wants to be a teacher. He's going, and you know, and then all of a sudden,
It sounds like one of your scripts, dude.
Right? So, what's Manuel doing now? He's doing adult movies, you know, but also, like, you know, for a lot of people that don't know my industry, when they hear porn, they think drugs, they think like prostitution. They don't see the real thing, which is like very professional, very well surrounded. Like it's very, very professional, and of course, your imagination will tell you rumors like, you know, the drugs, they're gonna do a lot of drugs. So my family, they were a little worried in the beginning, and then they realized, one, I didn't change, I stayed the same, and two, that I was being very successful at it. So then we don't talk about it. It's not like I'm having discussions with my mom or with my brother about the industry, but they understand that I stayed the same. I'm very successful in my field. And I also turned just being a performer, like starting a production company. I have a bunch of real estate investment. I do a lot of things. I'm also a dad. I'm a fucking good dad. Like I'm a very good parent. And you know, and so that's all that matters. Like my family, they love me, and they will love me no matter what I do. You know, and they were just worried a little bit in the beginning. And then they quickly realized that it didn't change anything about me. So,
to be fair, if you want, you can easily still be a teacher. So I think you're completely good.
No, I could never.
No, I'm not talking about that kind of teacher, my man.
Oh, my man. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've been few teachers in my life. and coaches. I've even been a football coach in the past.
What about a firefighter or an astronaut?
I don't know anything about football, and people. I remember seeing in the comments, this fool doesn't even know how to throw the ball, and it's true. I never see me, and I throw the ball, and the ball is like all, you know.
So this entire time we've talked about you know, new generation, how, you know, it's, you know, back in our day it was, you know, get off the computer, get on the books. When you have a kid, Nick, in 2-3 years, are you gonna raise him to be a gamer, or are you gonna raise him to be a doctor or a lawyer?
Do whatever he wants.
Whatever he wants.
Whatever he wants, but he will be doing something.
My man. God, you're so cute.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing right there.
He can do whatever the fuck he wants, but he's gonna try a lot of things, right? So like, let's say, I mean, listen, I'm a football guy, I'm a wrestling guy, I'm gonna put him in that real young. Dude, if he doesn't like it, that's fine. We'll try something different. He doesn't like that, we'll try something different. We'll find something he fucking likes, but that time slot, Emo and I have talked about it a lot, because we're gonna have a kid here in like a year or two. And that's probably how we're gonna do it.
Good answer. I like that. Good answer.
How you doing, man?
I like that too. Yeah.
That's exactly how you doing, man. That's it.
I like that. I like that a lot. W.
I talked to my dad about it a lot, man. And plus, I learned from my dad. You know, my dad kind of, you know, I don't know, he forced me to do a lot of shit I didn't want to do. You know,
all of us.
It made me play the fucking sports I didn't want to play. You know, and then it wasn't okay to play those sports that I wanted to play. It was just, you know, so.
But at the same time, I'm gonna be honest with you, Nick. Like, I feel like that style of raising us, it's what made us what we are. Like, think about it. Like,
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
listen, I don't hate the fucking guy. I just think that it was a bit too much. And if I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna do it, and I want to do it a little bit differently, a little bit.
I think like you can have like similar actions, but the goals can be way different. Like if you're forcing your kid to do stuff because you want them to like learn a lot of things, I think that's fine. But if you're forcing them to do stuff because you're trying to make them go a certain path, then that's fucked up, right? It's good to force your kids, because kids won't do anything if you don't like push them a little bit. Like, hey, you need to try this or whatever. But like, there's a difference between that and being like, you're doing football all 4 years of high school. I don't care if you don't like it. Like, fuck off, right?
Right, and that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know,
What's wrong with
if
doing
my kid don't like fucking football, like you know, if he comes to me, he's like, listen, I like gaming. And he's 8. We'll get him a fucking Fortnite coach. You know, Tifu, you ready to coach?
Yeah, I guess.
Get on it, bro. You know, I don't know. Like,
See, that's my thing. If my kid don't like football, he's gonna find a way to like football, or else. So, as far as I'm concerned, no, I'm just kidding.
Damn right.
are you kidding? Okay.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Well, no, there's people that are like that. There's a lot of people that are like that. They're gonna do it. That's it.
The only thing I'm
as long
tough
as you
with my
live under
kids
my
is-
roof, you're gonna be doing
Yeah,
this.
yeah, it's super
I
weird.
don't like
It's
that.
very
The
strange.
only thing I'm tough with my kid with is school. Like, I want them to work well from the beginning, because I understand, like, if you don't understand the basics, the further you'll go, the more lost you will be. That's the only thing I push. Sports wise, I always let them pick. My sport was not at all the sport they pick, but I want them to have fun doing something. And they tried a lot more sports than I did when I was young. I was lucky because I found my sport at a very young age, and I did it for so many years. But for them, I let them try, and to this day, they still try on top of what they already like, other things. For video gaming, they're very happy because they have a dad that loves gaming and encourage them to game, but I put a limit on the time they do every day.
So can you talk about the limit?
So school days, they have an hour of screen time a day. So they use it for whatever they want, gaming or watching TV or watching, but an hour a day. But it's also like they have a schedule that's pretty packed with school, with the sport, with, spending time with us. Like an hour is what.
Oh shit, dude! I'm getting flashbacks.
Dude, I'm getting What the fuck?
God damn.
Yeah, but he's making a point. They got a busy life
They got
other
a
than
big,
gaming.
busy schedule.
Yeah.
It's not even like if they wanted to play more, they don't really have the time to play more.
I think that's important too. Is keeping them busy. My dad did a really good job. My little brother, and
I want them
he
to
always
do
kept
other
them
things
busy.
outside of just being in front of a screen. But then in the future, like if they choose to get more time, they'll have more time. The weekend, I give them more time.
What's the limitations on school, or not limitations, but what's the expectations on school? So you say you're strict on school. So if little homie comes back and he has like a C,
under a B, like starting
what
at
happens?
C,
So what happens? He comes home. He's he has a D.
I take phone away.
Okay.
I take.
You go to 30 minutes, then 15, and 5, and done.
I get games away. Yeah, no, I do little things like that.
That's good. No, that's awesome.
But I also like, I hate like punishing my kids because it's like a form of punishment. I hate it. But we talk about it. I explain why I want this. I'm not just going to be like, you dumb fuck, you got a C or a D or a F or whatever. I will never do that. I will always explain to my kid, listen, and that's what I always teach my kids. To every act, there are consequences. And when you get good, you'll get good consequences out of it.
If that's the case,
you seem like a great dad, bro. That's awesome.
If that's the case, there's three things I'm gonna say right now to chat and to any kids that are watching right now. Right? Well, any young teens or older teens. Listen. One, do not hide the weed in the sock drawer. Your parents know. I don't know how, but they fucking know. They'll find it in the socks. Two, do not hide it in the clothes hanging in your closet in the pockets of your pants. Do not hide it there either. And three, if your parents take your cord away for your modem, it's always in the drawer next to their bed on your dad's side.
Mods check.
And that's a fact. All right, it's a fact. Right
there.
Dude.
I think I told you this before. You know what happened whenever I got grounded and they took away the internet? I had a second router that I set the DNS and everything up to. So my dad would go to work and I'd slip the other router in, and then dad's coming home. I'd take the router back and I'd just be sitting on the couch. I'm like, oh man, I'm just not doing anything, being punished all day. And he's like, you know what? I feel bad for you. Here you go. Here's the router.
You know what's funny? Home, dude. I never really took it away. Like when I said take it away, I don't unplug. I don't. They're more like PlayStation kids. So I leave the PlayStation in their rooms. They have like everything. They could play it and me not seeing it. Well, not technically not because my.
How old are your kids? Sorry to cut you out.
My oldest is 13. He's a boy. I have twins that are 10.
Wow.
And I have a daughter that's 6. She doesn't game yet. Yeah,
dude. When I was young, okay, if I had an hour to play, with our computer we had, the computer would not be loaded. It wouldn't be booted up after an hour. That shit was so slow. We had one of those like white computers, dude. You had to wait like 15 to 20 minutes to load and go.
Yeah, back when the hard drive was loading, you'd hear the little clicks like.
How do you guys feel about some kids just not being meant for school? I mean, like, okay, I'm not saying let's all drop out.
No, I will answer that.
I think there are kids that are like that. Yeah, so my kid has like insane ADHD. I've got a 9-year-old son, and it is like unbelievable. Like when I say unbelievable, I mean like between classes, sometimes he would have to crawl through like resistance tunnels to like get off his energy. Like it was insane. So I mean, like you have to work with him, but I think that I think the most important thing to realize is that like when you start to say things like, I don't think my kid is meant for school, like you're going to need some level of discipline to get through life.
Yes.
And school is like the best time you have to kind of work on that. Because I mean, the worst thing that happens when you fail in school usually is like you fail a class, you fail your grades. Worst case scenario, you're held back. If you don't have that discipline developed by the time you're 18, 19, if mom and dad aren't there to take care of you, then what? You're doing crack, you're homeless, you're fucking up, you're destroying
I agree.
Life,
It's a bad road.
I do agree that like I wish there was another world that had places for different kinds of learners, because I don't think that the like sit in school. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. The first day I dropped my kid off at fucking kindergarten, I had PTSD. I felt so bad because he was so excited, and I hated school. And he likes it way more than I did.
I was really bad at school, so that's why I'm
even
asking.
dropping him off, I started to feel bad. I was like, oh my god. Dude,
Here's
like,
the thing, right?
But I'm just saying that like even though we don't have that world, unfortunately, where like different learners can be in different environments, you have to like be able to work in the world that we're in now. And part of that is like if you can't just do school, you're probably not going to be able to do work. You're probably not going to be able to hold down a job. You're like a whole bunch more in your life is going to get fucked up, you know?
Can I be honest with you? That's kind of how I felt whenever, as soon as I dropped out, it's just seeing all the structure like fall out of place. And even though I was usually pretty organized and not organized, but pretty conscious, it's really hard to like create this environment where you're structured without school. Jumping in there on your own is pretty crazy. And I feel like it was like failing the world, not only myself, but I was like dropping out and like, you know, cutting classes. It was crazy. I hated it. It was like a very overwhelming feeling. You feel like you're,
Can I jump in with one thing? I just want to talk about a little bit. So the one thing, and I have a couple of buddies who their boys graduated from high school, and college was not the route for them. It just they didn't want to do it. And when you hear that, I know a lot of people recoil and go, "Oh my God, they're not going to go to college." So I have a buddy of mine who, a couple of them actually, whose their boys went into the trades. Do you know when I say trades? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like electrician, plumber, carpenter, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
bricklaying.
Yes. So one of his boys became an iron worker. These are the guys that go and actually build buildings.
Way up high. Yeah.
And the kid right out of 18 years old, his dad was had done that, for 30 years, and he joined the union. And you have a kid, an iron worker, 18 years old. He was making $160,000 a year.
Yeah, they make good money.
And the thing, and that was, and what was interesting about that is he wasn't really, he knew that it wasn't gonna, the college thing was not gonna be the route. And again, I'm going back to what I said earlier, not necessarily about doing the gaming thing or going into music or art or comedy or acting. But there are also, like when we talk about, a plumber, an electrician, these are things too that if you look at a lot of these high schools, and I went through this. So guys, everything I'm talking about, I lived through it. I had a conversation at the high school with the guidance counselor, and I'm like, you guys talk about all these things. Have you had people come in and talk about the trades? They go, we really don't do that. And I said, I think you're doing a lot of these kids a big disservice. And this kid now that I'm talking about, my buddy's son, he's 24 years old. He's got $300,000 in the bank. He makes almost $200,000 a year. He's an iron worker. So
doing great.
I think they do now, though, right? They do show the possibilities and a lot of options in school. They do now,
dude. As little as 10 years ago, I don't think they did that.
It really depends on the school,
They did in my school.
Right. And I had
it might be a newer thing. Yeah.
I had this conversation, and it was very frustrating to me. And And if I could just say,
but they push.
If I could just say, and I'm going to say it, this guy next to me does not have a college degree. You know,
neither do I.
I don't have one either.
I like you guys are talking about. I like how you guys are talking about this because I actually never went to school.
Wait, I just want to make a point though. What do you mean it's fucked up?
No, I'm kidding.
You live in a fucking $1 million house with fucking hunting dogs. What are you talking about? What?
I think something that's. I think
you
something
never
that
went to school.
Tifu, you said you never went to school?
What does that mean?
No, I never went to school. Actually,
like high school?
Like I never went to elementary school. I never went to pre-K. I never went to school.
Shit? What?
Yeah, and then when I was like about.
Wait, we need more background on that. What do you mean by that?
My parents were a little bit, you know, like
you were
untraditional. I guess I was homeschooled a little bit, but I didn't really do work. And then when I was like 14 years old, I was like, yo, I want to go to school.
Yeah.
You know, after not going to school for, you know, however long it was.
That must have been a trip. Your first day.
Yeah, no, I went back to school because like I saw all my friends were, and I wanted to like go hang out with them and shit. And I was like, oh my God, like this is ridiculous. Like I feel like without anybody teaching me anything, I feel like I was learning more like outside of school than actually what these teachers were teaching me. Also, I would like to say that I was going to like a shitty public school too. So it didn't really help. But after like a few days or like a week, I was like, yo, fuck this. Like
that's the truth.
Like these teachers are morons. Like I don't know if I went to the wrong school or something, but I was like, yeah, I'm out. Like,
where are you from? Are you from Florida?
Great teachers, you know.
Are you from Florida? That makes sense. Sounds about right.
I will say this though. Let me say one more thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. After I like tried out school and didn't like it, you know, I was like, whatever. Like I'll be homeschooled. Like I didn't really like learn that much. I kind of taught myself like how to read and write mainly, but I ended up getting my homeschool high school diploma, so it didn't really matter in the long run, to be honest.
Nice.
It's like the same shit.
You're doing great now.
Yeah, whatever.
And what's happening here is a lot of these families and a lot of these kids, they're being sold a bill of goods. You know, they're being told that you have to do this and you have to, you know, follow like a sheep. But everyone on here and including the guy sitting next to me, that's not the case.
So, real quick. I want to say one thing real quick, okay? So, in my opinion, here's my take on it, okay? Because you know, I have two degrees, and here's my take, okay? Sorry, this blue label's making me feel real good. I'm just kind of zoning out, but wow,
fuck,
Jesus. But anyways, listen. So, man, Nick, I gotta say, bro, you're just cute as fuck. But anyways, hear me out. School shouldn't be looked at like at the bare minimum. This is how school should be looked at, and right in my opinion, and it should be how it's put. Yo, Greek, mute your mic, dickhead. Holy fuck, these guys high out of their mind. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyways, school, the way school should be explained, like once the kid gets a little older, right? Because you have to understand where we are. It's an extremely lucky and fortunate position, right? Not everyone's gonna get, you know, to where Nick Merckx is, to where XQC is. People can put their heads down, you know, they can work, they can go hard, but there is a small percent of situational chance that puts you at the very, 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 very top, or anywhere that we are, right? A little bit, you know, most of it is hard work, don't get me wrong, right? I think hard work over luck all day, but school is the same thing to me as a credit score is to getting a credit card or to getting a house. School is a paper that shows that it's not about really liking school. It's about understanding and showing people, no, hold on, give me a sec here. School is the slip that tells companies and people who do not know you, that will never put your word over their money, that you can put your head down, you have the discipline, you 100%. Know how to do well, you know, how to get the right grades, how to study. This is what school is.
That you can stick something out for 4 years.
Yeah, in the capitalistic society of America, right? So I want to make this very clear. You should not drop school, drop everything to try and become a streamer, try and become a rapper, try and become a sports player. Because at the end of the day, here are the raw stats. 95% of America is making below 100K, right? So this idea that every single person is going to become what they tell themselves they're going to become when they drop out of school, it's just statistically and mathematically improbable, or it's false. It cannot happen. Now, with that said, I'm not saying don't do what you love, but understand that school is a process that reflects your discipline to other people. Now, it could be a stepping stone to get to what you want to do ultimately, but do not just drop out for this offhand dream of becoming a rapper on SoundCloud. That's all I want to say.
And also something that is so important, and this is like everybody leaves this part out, okay? But when people talk about people that made it without doing school or people that made it without going to college or whatever, these are people that had something. If you're just somebody, like, no offense, and not to name any names in chat, well, I wouldn't know the names in chat, but if you're just somebody that's just like too lazy to do the work, you don't want to do school, you just want to jack off and jerk around all day and not do fucking all or whatever, you're not the kind of person that anybody here is talking about when they're like, oh, you know, school's not for everybody, right? Sometimes school keeps people from doing the things they're really good at, and those people maybe shouldn't go to school. This isn't like advice for people that are just like too lazy to do anything and think they're just going to quit school and something's magically going to fall in their laps, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like all the Facebook posts. Like Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, yeah, these guys dropped out of school. School, you know, isn't like that. It's like, okay, yeah, but they add other things that had a lot of energy for other things that we're passionate about. They had another project, something successful that we were going on to. They didn't say, fuck it, I'm out, dude, fuck school, I'm gonna go in the garage. That's not how it happened.
Hey, Destiny, can I just make a point though?
Yeah.
What you said was as a dad, right, of someone who's actually living this, what you just said is brilliant and dead on. It's you fucking nailed it. Because I say this all the time, and I joke around with him, and like I come on, since probably March, like I come on his stream and it's been fun and the whole thing. But I say some of this stuff, and sometimes he gets a little annoyed at me. Mm-hmm. But I tell, and what I say is what you kind of to your point is if you don't have it and you think you're going to make it anyway, I know it sounds somewhat negative, but the fact of the matter is you have to recognize that you have, this ability to succeed, without going to school. And if you don't have whatever that thing is, then I would tell someone maybe the route that you're going to go is a little bit more traditional.
Let me piggyback off this.
Yeah.
Can I roll off you?
Yes, go.
Bro, fucking facts. Listen, so just a couple weeks ago, I was on my stream ranting and shit, and every now and then when I'm ranting, people start clipping it, and then I'll look back on it, and then I'm like, oh shit, it was a crazy rant. Well, it's one of those rants. This is one of those rants that I was on, okay? And I was on a rant about this, and I was talking about how when I was a really young gamer, I knew I was fucking good, and this is gonna be kind of cocky, so go fuck yourselves. But dude, I knew that I was fucking good. Like I didn't know how to tell my dad. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know how to say, Lou, I'm fucking good. Like my dad was just like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? But I knew that I'm beating everybody's ass on Xbox Live. I'm going to Toledo Gaming Center to win 2v2 lands for $500 on the weekend. And I'm getting ready to go to this MLG tournament. I'm better than these fucking kids. I beat the shit out of them every fucking day. I know I'm better than them. But I didn't know how to fucking tell my dad that and my mom that, you know what I mean? So that it factor that you're talking about, it might be kind of corny, but I knew I was I was fucking good, man.
It's not though, man. It's not.
No, I know, but when we do the gaming shit, it gets like, but I knew I knew that this was it.
For a lot of people that left school, like going in a different direction was the only gear they had. And like I got thrown out of public school. The other thing is like the person that joins, it's not like a bad thing. Like we incentivize entrepreneurship and like being a gamer or a streamer, whatever, so much in our society. But like the dude that joined Facebook at number 5 employee or 15th employee is richer than everyone on this podcast combined, right? Like it's not like you can't be successful going to traditional.
No. That's a great. It's so
right. Totally.
That's a great point. But I for what we're talking about here with all of you and. It's a different approach. And I think, listen, I lived it. Like, I don't know how else to say it. I went through this and to have and I had buddies of mine, like I'd meet them for a drink. I go, I don't know what my son's doing. I'm very concerned.
No, I know. That's fucking great.
You gotta understand. I'm meeting guys in Jersey City. We're having a drink. What my kids.
How's your son doing? Yeah.
What's your son doing? I go, I don't know. What do you mean? I go, I don't know. I come home 3 in the afternoon. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
He's playing Fortnite.
He's upstairs fucking screaming. Fuck yeah! I go, what the fuck is he doing? And then things started to happen, and I went, oh, now I get it. And it's just, but I guess going back to the and I just love what Destiny. I just like I don't know if you guys really heard what he said, but it's like let's be realistic. I always coached. I coached him, the brothers. I coached even other teams and leagues. I coached a lot. And I would tell, like, I would get a mom or a dad that would come up to me and I go, listen, come here. Your kid's not Derek Jeter. Can we just have fun? And most of the kids, the overwhelming majority of these kids are not going to be Derek Jeter. And like, people don't want to hear that, but it's the fact of the matter. And if you don't have whatever that it factor is, then go a traditional route. Get the degree, go get a fucking job, and there's nothing wrong with that. I was that guy. I mean, I was a sales guy, so I don't have a traditional job, you know. But my point is, that's okay. But if you have whatever that thing is, hopefully you'll have someone that'll support you, and you can go after it.
Lou, here's the problem, right? The issue is when you say, if you have the it factor, I want you to remember yourself at 19. I want everyone to remember themselves at 19. I want everyone in chat to think of themselves right now if they are 19 or younger, right?
Yeah.
Everyone believes they are different. Everyone believes they have the it factor. Everyone believes they are special. At a young age, any excuse you can find, to get away from work that you don't want to do, you will make. So the problem is putting the responsibility of finding the right individuals that can understand what context it is okay to drop out of school. I think that is like a negligence to think that people at that age have the wisdom to make that decision. That's the issue. So that's why I think school is something you should do regardless as a bare minimum. And then if you have the it factor, right, that's something that you do on the side. And as it grows, as you do school, that's when you can drop out. But when you drop out before you have anything created from what you're envisioning, what happens is a lot of people get fucked and they end up with nothing. Does that make sense?
That's totally true, but like especially today, because we are like so much more connected than we ever were before. And honestly, this is hard to say, but if you're honest with yourself, and if you think you're honest with yourself, you're not. But if you're honest with yourself, you should have like a pretty good idea of like where you're at. You know, if you're somebody that's ready to drop out of high school because you think you're gonna go pro in league and you've been stuck in silver for like the past 2 years, like this ain't it, Chief. Right? It's time to go somewhere else. But like if you're like a senior in high school, you're about to graduate, you don't know if you want to go to college for computer science, but you're contributing to like 4 or 5 like really huge projects, and you've got like a ton of shit under your belt, and you've got like an actual portfolio of work you've done. Like, I think that you're in a spot where you can consider like, you know, maybe the schooling route isn't for me. Maybe I can go to apply for jobs or get some more like real life experience or whatever. Like, I think that even in high school, I think you kind of have a rough idea of like where you're at compared to everyone else, as long as you're not bullshitting yourself too hard. Ideally, this is where you'd have like a mentor that would come in and kind of point you in the right direction. But.
Can I jump in? Can I just say one thing? And again, man, that is, and using it in real life, and I did. That's a fantastic point. Now, to the point that you were making earlier about school, if I was a fucking prick and I jumped all over this guy and I squashed him, and I said, "You're gonna go to school, and this is the path you're gonna follow." Guaranteed he would not be sitting here doing what he's doing.
It was fucking hot. Okay.